Detroit. A city with a storied past, once the heart of America's automotive industry, now a symbol of urban decay and resilience. A city of broken dreams and shattered glass. The remnants of a bygone era where prosperity once thrived, now lay in ruins. This is where Rocky, Alex and Money called home. In the midst of the decay they found a sense of belonging, a place where they could be themselves. They were delinquents, products of a harsh environment. The streets had shaped them, molded them into survivors. Stealing was their way out, their ticket to a better life. Or so they thought. Each heist was a step closer to their dreams, a chance to escape the clutches of poverty. Rocky, the toughest of the bunch, had a younger sister to protect. She was fierce, determined, and willing to do whatever it took to keep her sister safe. Lily was her only sunshine in their dark world. Her laughter, her innocence, was a beacon of hope in the midst of their struggles. Their father was a monster, a cruel man who ruled with an iron fist. His anger and violence cast a shadow over their lives, a constant reminder of the darkness they sought to escape. Rocky vowed to get her sister away from him no matter the cost. She would not let Lily's spirit be crushed by their father's tyranny. Alex, the brains of the operation, was a tech whiz. His skills with electronics and computers were unmatched, making him an invaluable asset to their team. He could disable alarms and pick locks with ease. His talents opened doors, both literally and figuratively, for their daring escapades. He was in love with Rocky, though he knew her heart was set on a different future. A future where she and Lily could be free from the chains of their past, one far away from the decaying streets of Detroit, a place where dreams could be realized and hope could flourish. Money, the wild card, was in it for the thrill. The adrenaline rush of their heists was his escape, his way of feeling alive in a world that often felt dead. He craved the rush of adrenaline that came with their risky heists. The danger, the excitement, it was all a game to him. He didn't think about the consequences, living life on the edge. For Money, the present moment was all that mattered, the future a distant thought. But this time, the stakes were higher than ever. Their latest plan was more dangerous, more ambitious, and the risks were greater than anything they had faced before. They spent countless hours planning, every detail meticulously mapped out. Failure was not an option. Too much was riding on this one last job. For Rocky, it was about securing a future for Lily. For Alex, it was about proving his worth and perhaps winning Rocky's heart. For Money, it was the ultimate thrill, the pinnacle of their adventures. As night fell over Detroit, the city became their playground. Shadows danced in the alleys, and the air was thick with anticipation. They moved with precision, each step calculated, each breath measured. The weight of their mission hung heavy, but their resolve was unshakable. Memories of their past struggles fueled their determination. They had come too far, endured too much to turn back now. Rocky's eyes burned with fierce determination. She would not fail, not this time, for Lily, for herself, for their future. Together they were more than just delinquents. They were a family, bound by their shared dreams and their unbreakable bond, and they were ready to take on whatever came their way. California, the Golden State, a land of sunshine and opportunity. It was Rocky's obsession, her escape route from the nightmare of her life. She plastered her bedroom walls with pictures of palm trees and beaches. Rocky worked tirelessly, her small hands calloused from breaking and entering. Every dollar she stole was a dollar closer to freedom, to a place where she and Lily could finally be safe, where their laughter wouldn't be silenced by fear. One afternoon, Alex stumbled upon an interesting lead. Norman Nordstrom, a blind Gulf War veteran, was rumored to have received a large insurance settlement, $300,000 in cash, hidden in his house. The thought of that much money was intoxicating. It could be their ticket out, their chance to finally leave Detroit behind. Rocky knew the risks were high, but the reward was worth it. For Lily, she would do anything. Norman Nordstrom lived in a modest two-story house on the outskirts of town. The house, though unassuming, held an air of mystery. It stood quietly, almost blending into the serene suburban landscape, yet there was something about it that made people pause and wonder. Blinded in combat, he relied on his other senses to navigate the world. His hearing was sharp, his sense of touch acute, and his intuition almost uncanny. Every step he took was deliberate, every movement calculated. He had adapted to his blindness in ways that were both remarkable and unsettling. He was a recluse, rarely leaving the confines of his home. The darkness inside mirrored the isolation he felt. The walls of his house were his fortress, his sanctuary from a world he could no longer see but could still feel closing in on him. The house was surprisingly well secured. It was more than just a home, it was a fortress. Every window, every door was fortified. The security measures were meticulous, almost obsessive. An alarm system blinked on the wall, and a heavy steel door guarded the entrance. It was clear that Norman had gone to great lengths to protect himself and his home. The security system was state-of-the-art, a silent sentinel watching over him. But Alex had assured them he could handle it. He was confident, almost cocky. He had a plan, and he believed in it. He had studied the house meticulously, noting every detail, every potential entry point. He had been studying the house for weeks, memorizing its every detail. He knew the routines, the patterns, the times when the house was most vulnerable. He was meticulous, leaving nothing to chance. Money was getting cold feet. The closer they got to the heist, the more his anxiety grew. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, that they were walking into a trap. He didn't like the idea of robbing a blind man. It felt wrong, even for him. The moral implications weighed heavily on him, gnawing at his conscience. But Rocky was determined. She saw this as their chance, their opportunity to change their lives. She was resolute, her determination unwavering. She believed in the plan, in their ability to pull it off. This was their chance, and she wasn't going to let it slip away. She rallied the group, motivating them, pushing them forward. She was the driving force, the one who kept them focused. They decided to move forward with the plan. The preparations were intense, every detail scrutinized. They were ready, or so they thought. The risk was too great, the potential reward too tempting. The thought of the money, the life-changing sum, was enough to push their doubts aside. It was a gamble, but one they were willing to take. They were young, desperate, and blinded by their own ambition. Their dreams of a better life clouded their judgment, making them oblivious to the dangers that lay ahead. They had no idea what awaited them inside Norman Nordstrom's house. The house, with its eerie silence and hidden secrets, was more than just a building. It was a labyrinth of danger, a place where their worst nightmares could come true. As they approached, the weight of their decision pressed down on them, but there was no turning back now. The plan was simple, in and out, quick and clean. They had rehearsed it 100 times, each step meticulously planned and timed to perfection. Every member of the team knew their role, and they were confident that nothing could go wrong. Alex would disable the alarm system and open the door. He was the tech wizard of the group, with a knack for bypassing even the most sophisticated security systems. His fingers danced over the keypad with practiced ease, each beep of the alarm system falling silent under his touch. Money would take point, securing the house while Rocky searched for the cash. Money was the muscle, always ready to step in if things got rough. He moved with a quiet confidence, his eyes scanning every corner, every shadow, ensuring that no one would catch them off guard. They would use sleeping gas to subdue Nordstrom. The gas was a last resort, a way to ensure that their target wouldn't wake up and cause trouble. They had tested it multiple times, making sure it was strong enough to put a man to sleep but not harm him. They didn't want to hurt him, just put him to sleep long enough to get what they came for. Nordstrom was a wealthy man, but he wasn't their enemy. They just needed his money to start a new life, away from the shadows and the constant fear of getting caught. Rocky had drawn the line at violence. She was the heart of the group, always reminding them of their shared goal, a better life without bloodshed. Her resolve was unwavering, and her determination kept the team grounded. She might be a thief, but she wasn't a killer. Rocky's past was filled with hardship, but she had always managed to keep her hands clean. She believed in second chances, and this heist was theirs. The night of the heist arrived. The air was crisp, and the city was bathed in the silver light of the full moon. It was a night that felt almost magical, as if the universe itself was watching their every move. A full moon hung heavy in the sky, casting long, eerie shadows across the lawn. The shadows seemed to dance and shift, creating an almost surreal landscape that heightened their senses and made their hearts race even faster. Their hearts pounded in their chests as they crept through the darkness towards the house. This was it. Months of planning, sleepless nights, and countless rehearsals had led to this moment. The weight of their hopes and dreams rested on their shoulders, pushing them forward, their one shot at a better life. Each step they took was filled with purpose, each breath a reminder of what was at stake. They had come too far to turn back now, and the promise of a brighter future was within their grasp. But as they were about to discover, fate had other plans. The unexpected was always a risk, and despite their meticulous preparation, they couldn't account for everything. The night held secrets that would soon unravel. The air crackled with a tension they couldn't explain. It was as if the very atmosphere was charged with electricity, a silent warning that something was amiss. Their instincts screamed at them to be cautious, to be ready for anything. A sense of dread settled over them like a shroud. It was a feeling that gnawed at their confidence, casting a shadow over their resolve. They knew that the path they had chosen was fraught with danger, but they had no choice but to press on. The night was far from over, and the true test of their courage and determination was about to begin. Alex worked his magic on the alarm system, his nimble fingers dancing across the keypad. A soft click signaled his success. He had bypassed the security system. The first hurdle had been cleared. Money crept inside, his hand gripping a can of sleeping gas. He sprayed the room, his heart pounding against his ribs. The air grew thick with the cloying scent of chemicals. They waited, listening for any sound from within. Silence. The house was eerily quiet. Too quiet. A wave of unease washed over Rocky. It felt like they were walking into a trap, but there was no turning back now. They were in too deep. Rocky pushed open the door and stepped inside. The house was dark, the air heavy with the scent of dust and decay. They moved through the shadows, their footsteps muffled by the plush carpet. The silence was deafening. They found Nordstrom asleep in his armchair, a blanket draped over his legs. He looked peaceful, almost vulnerable. Money's hand shook as he reached out to check for a pulse. He was still alive. Relief washed over them. Rocky began searching for the money, her heart pounding in her chest. She checked drawers, rifled through closets, but the cash was nowhere to be found. Where could he have hidden it? Frustration gnawed at her. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence. Money lay sprawled on the floor, his eyes wide with terror. A dark stain bloomed on his chest, spreading rapidly across his shirt. He was dead. A cold dread gripped Rocky's heart. They had walked into a trap. But who had killed Money? And where was Nordstrom? Panic welled up inside her, threatening to consume her.